What's up YouTube? Welcome to the latest episode of The Layup.Line. My name is Dolos, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button for more videos like this one. Today I am here with a way too early trade machine video. A few of these ideas are for transactions that could help both teams. Obviously we're only talking about a small sample size of games. Most teams are around or below 10 games played, but I still think it's early enough to see the writing on the wall with a few of them. These trade machines can be divisive, so you might find yourself disagreeing with my takes. Feel free to respectfully voice that in the comments or suggest trade ideas that I could consider for future videos. With that out the way, let's transition into this first trade idea. So this trade is really the definition of my way too early trades. It's no secret that this is going to be a make or break season for Darius Bazley with the Thunder. He's become a divisive player within the Thunder fan base because he has really flashed some two-way potential that has been truly impressive. There's an argument that if the Thunder gave him more small ball 5 minutes during the 2020 playoffs, they might have actually been able to beat Houston in Game 7 of the playoffs. But he has slumped since, and this is getting to an extension decision with him, so I can easily see Sam Presti doing what he's done with guys like Hamidou Diallo and Terrence Ferguson by just trading them at the deadline before those contract decisions come up. Not to mention there's a section of this fan base that has already given up with the inconsistencies with Bagley and would just like to open up that starting spot for Pokusevski. I don't think 10 games into the season is enough of a sample size to make that decision, but I could see them being willing to pull the trigger on this later in the year. For the Kings, they get a forward who can hopefully slot into their 3-guard lineups and give them some additional size. I think Sacramento's roster is a better fit for Bazley and what he does, but I do think it will cost them some picks. I threw in a few seconds because I don't think Bazley's value is at a first-round pick, but there is a significant salary difference. Bagley's dealt with injuries and also has a contract decision upcoming, so I do think it's on the Kings to make up some value in this somehow. For OKC, they're giving up Bazley in exchange for a shot at revamping a high caliber prospect and try him out in a new environment that has been a great developer. Bagley has looked good offensively when he's played, and I think getting to play with Giddey and Shea would provide the best playmaking Marvin has had around him. The Thunder also don't really have a big man prospect that they're developing. Poku is some kind of wing or guard forward, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl is kind of undersized and a backup. Isaiah Roby and Derek Favors aren't long-term options at center, so this is a high upside swing if they have given up on Bazley's fit in Oklahoma. Bagley's family has vocally requested out, and his agent made a statement about being upset Marvin's out of the rotation. A trade for him feels inevitable at this point, and I really think that this makes a ton of sense for both sides. Moving on to the next trade though, and I have another Kings player being traded in this one. They move another guy who's been rumored to be on the market. In fact, they kind of did actually trade Buddy Hield to the Lakers before LA backed out of that and did the Westbrook deal, so we know for a fact, at the very least, they wouldn't mind moving Buddy Hield. His role has continued to shrink year by year with the Kings, and with Tyrese Halliburton and Davion Mitchell now on the roster, it makes sense to swap him for a wing player. Jeremy Lamb and TJ Warren are very solid players, and their fit would really help Sacramento push for the play-in. Warren is still injured, but potentially adding him back gives them another option at the 4 besides Harrison Barnes or Maurice Harkless, I guess. Jeremy Lamb is also a solid wing, he's a good shooter, and this deal provides some cap relief from the Buddy Hield big contract. This move would be on brand for the Indiana Pacers as well. Indy likes to trade for guys who are already signed for a few years, and Indiana has a few wing players on tradable sized deals, so I could see them moving them since guys like Duarte and Karis LeVert are the long-term investments on the wing anyway. Bringing in Buddy Hield is just adding another sniper. Hield would be great running handoff plays with Sabonis and a floor spacer that gives LeVert, Duarte, and Brogdon some driving lanes. Buddy would still have to deal with coming off of the bench, which he wasn't happy with in Sacramento, but I don't see him complaining to Rick Carlisle the way he was able to do with Luke Walton. Warren might be the toughest to lose because Indy never really got to see what their team looked like fully healthy. Losing Lamb would also be another shooter gone, but Both were on one-year deals, so I could see this happening since they just lost McDermott after choosing not to move him at the deadline. At the end of the day, I think both of these teams are looking to get solidly in the playoffs, and I think this move would actually benefit both sides in doing that. Save the biggest and best for last. We have a three-teamer for this one. The Pelicans bring back Eric Gordon because although the contract is huge, when healthy, Gordon has been a good shooter and secondary shot creator. New Orleans has plenty of young guards and this would push somebody to the bench, but I think ownership and management is pressing to be competitive more than anything. Other than Eric's contract, there's a pretty low cost to making this trade happen for them. They send out Tomas Satoransky to Houston, which allows the Rockets to cut their salary, which teams always love to do. Satoransky has played a small role off the Pelicans bench, and his role in general has gotten smaller year by year since leaving Washington. But he was once a steady guard, and Houston can roll the dice on him reviving that. The Kevin Porter Jr. point guard experiment hasn't always worked, to be kind, so maybe a veteran guard off the bench could help, like the Cavs with Rubio. If not, he's on an expiring deal, and the contract is a tradable size if you want to end up rerouting him somewhere. The Pelicans would also be moving Garrett Temple, but Eric Gordon is a better version of Temple's role, so I think you take that trade-off. As far as Dallas, Cauley-Stein hasn't been good. He's bounced around, and the Pelicans probably don't even keep him at the end of this because he's on a one-year deal, so maybe he's a buyout at the deadline or reroute him somewhere else kind of guy. In exchange, Dallas would be getting a secondary ball handler and a guy who's been average to below average as a shooter, but a guy who I think would get great looks playing next to Luka and generally competes hard on defense. Temple wouldn't be a fix for Dallas, but he is regular season depth on that roster and maybe 10 to 15 minutes in the playoffs if needed. But that's my last trade. Comment down below and let me know what you thought about all three of these trade ideas. You can also comment and let me know what trade ideas you've had so far this season. And definitely make sure to subscribe. I'd really like to get more consistent on this channel. I'd really like to make it a community with you guys interacting and letting me know what kind of videos you want to see. Don't forget to like because that really does help me get this video out to other NBA fans. I really appreciate it if you made it all the way to the end of this video. I want to thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.